Imagine if your country's leader suddenly declared themselves a god, dressed up as Hercules and started fighting in a stadium. Except instead of real warriors, they fought wounded opponents and defenseless animals. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, welcome to the reign of Emperor Commodus, the guy who thought he was Rome's ultimate gladiator. Born in 161 AD, Commodus was the son of the legendary philosopher king Marcus Aurelius. You know, the wise emperor from Gladiator. Yeah, his son was the complete opposite. Instead of being a smart and just ruler, Commodus was, well, let's just say he was more interested in flexing his muscles than his brain. He wasn't into politics, diplomacy, or even pretending to care. What did he love? Fighting. And by fighting, I mean pretending to be a gladiator while everyone was forced to cheer for him. Now, gladiators in Rome were often slaves, prisoners, or professional fighters, people trained to put on a good show. Commodus? He was none of those things. But since he was the emperor, nobody could tell him no when he decided to step into the arena. And when he did, he made sure the fights were rigged in his favor. He'd fight animals, but they were either tied down or already injured. He once killed 100 lions in a single day, which sounds impressive until you realize they were released one by one, and Commodus was standing safely on a platform with a bow. And it gets weirder. He once slaughtered a giraffe, claiming it was a monster. Imagine showing up to a gladiator match, expecting an epic battle, and instead, you just see the emperor bullying a confused giraffe. But his greatest performance? He liked to fight actual humans, except they had wooden swords while he had a real one. The crowd had to cheer, or else. And to make things even worse, he paid himself a ridiculous amount of money every time he won, which was always. But Commodus wasn't just content being a fake gladiator. No, he wanted to be a god. Specifically, he believed he was the reincarnation of Hercules. He even made statues of himself wearing a lion's skin and carrying a club, classic Hercules style. Then he went full crazy and decided Rome itself should be renamed to Colonia Lucia Annia Commodiana, basically, Commodus City. He even tried to rename the months after himself. Can you imagine having to tell people, "See you in Commodus Aerie"? By this point, everyone had had enough. The Senate, his advisors, even the gladiators were done with his nonsense. So, on December 31st, 192 AD, they sent in his wrestling coach, yes, his coach, to strangle him in his bath. And just like that, Rome's wannabe Hercules was out. So what did we learn? Maybe don't force people to cheer while you fight defenseless animals. Maybe don't rename an entire empire after yourself. And maybe, just maybe, if you want to be a gladiator, actually fight like one. Commodus wanted to be Hercules, but in the end he was more like the villain in his own tragic comedy. And Rome? Well, let's just say they didn't miss